I would say that growth is important, but impact comes from alignment. So that means aligning your mission, your culture, and your people. When those three are in sync, you don't just build a company, you're building a legacy. Consolidation continues to reshape the landscape, both the animal health industry and the
Hmm.
vet profession.
Hmm.
There's more organizations coming under larger groups. And then at the same time, technology is transforming the business, such as telemedicine, AI-driven diagnostics, and new treatment innovations are creating opportunities and challenges. And then there's also a growing recognition in the veterinary space of the mental health challenges that veterinary
Hmm. Hmm.
professionals face. Employers who understand and respond to these trends are the ones who will attract and retain the best talent.
Hmm.
And then
Hmm.
we're still seeing a talent shortage, especially in the veterinary profession. There are more jobs and people available.
Wow.
And also in the vet space, vet visits are down. We've seen price increases in the
Yeah,
vet
yeah,
space, so it's
definitely. Yeah.
driven some of the consumers to find alternative resources for caring for their pets. There's been a lot
Hmm.
of conversation about that recently.
Hey guys, before I start the podcast, a quick introduction. My name is Warnit and I'm the founder of Pet Excel Marketing. Pet Excel Marketing is a marketing agency that specifically works with pet businesses. Over the years, we have worked with pet food brand, pet relocation businesses, pet SaaS companies, pet clothing brand, cat food businesses, dog grooming services, and many other product and service-based pet businesses globally. Our services includes everything from creating graphics to running your ad campaign. Not only that, we have built amazing websites and apps for pet businesses. So if you have a pet business and would like us to help grow it, click on the first link in the description to book a call with our team. Now enjoy the podcast.
Hey guys, welcome back to Pet Brand Podcast, where we bring you inspiring stories, insights, and actionable strategies from industry leaders to help pet brand founders, CEOs, and professionals grow and scale their businesses. I'm your Swarnit, and today I'm absolutely thrilled to have an incredible guest with us, Stacy Pursell, the founder and CEO of the Vet Recruiter, the leading executive search and recruitment firm specializing in animal health, veterinary, and pet products. With over 25 years of experience, Stacy Pursell is a leading expert in veterinary and animal health recruitment, having placed more professionals in the industry than anyone else in the US. She works with Fortune 100 companies, startups, and nonprofit, offering deep insight into hiring trends, company culture, and growth in the pet and the vet ecosystem. In today's episode, we will deep dive into Stacey's journey, her strategies for building a world-class recruitment firm, how pet businesses can attract and retain top talent, marketing insights, industry trends, and much more. So let's get started. Stacey, thank you so much for joining us today.
Well, thank you, Varnit. Thank you so much for having me.
Great, great. So yeah, let's start with your personal journey, Stacey. Like you were the first recruiter in the US to specialize in the animal health and veterinary industry, right? So which is definitely a quite niche, unique niche. What inspired you to carve out this specialized path and focus exclusively on this particular industry?
Yeah, so when I started in recruiting, I noticed that many industries had specialized search firms, but no one was focusing exclusively on the animal health or the pet industry or the veterinary space. And at the same time, the industry was rapidly growing and the need for talent was becoming more urgent. So when I saw the gap, I thought, why me? And I decided to do it. It was a chance to combine my passion with a professional opportunity. And looking back, it was about seeing a niche that was underserved. And I stepped in with the belief that if I committed to it, that I could bring value to both employers and professionals in the space. So at the time, I was working for a large international recruitment firm, and I
Wow.
was brought on to place executives with Fortune 500 companies, specifically in the food and beverage space. So
Wow.
my clients were large human food consumer packaged goods companies. And one of those human food companies had a need. Well, they had a pet division. They still do have a pet food division, and they needed somebody to run that. So I found them a leader to run their pet business. And when you're doing executive search and you're filling an executive role, you find a person and you fill a position. But through that journey, you're interviewing, many candidates to find the right fit. And so when I was working on that search, I connected with a candidate who'd interviewed for that role, but he was an executive at another pet food company. And
Yeah.
they were hiring a veterinarian for a chief veterinary officer role. And
Yeah.
so that company hired me to find a chief veterinary officer. And so I found a
Wow.
veterinarian. And my boss at the time, he joked, he said, if you can figure out how to spell the word veterinarian, then tell them you'll help them, because the search process is exactly the same to find
Okay.
a veterinarian as it is to find an executive for a Fortune 500 company. So I
Wow.
filled that position and started helping that company fill other roles, and then just
Mhm.
word of mouth. I kept getting asked to fill other roles across the pet in the vet and the animal health space.
Wow, wow. And today, the Vet Recruiter stands out as the leading search firm in animal health and veterinary medicine. But every business starts somewhere, right? So, like, what were the early challenges you guys faced when building the firm from scratch?
Well, the biggest challenge at the time was the lack of technology, because
Mm.
there was no database.
And when
There
was
was
this?
no
Which year was that?
So it was in the mid 90s.
Wow.
So there was no LinkedIn, there was no social media.
Yeah.
I had to build a database from scratch, and then at the same time, their veterinarians were not used to getting calls from recruiters. When I would speak with a veterinarian at the time, they would tell me that the only time a recruiter called them was a recruiter working for the military or for
Okay.
the army. So
Wow.
they were just not accustomed to getting calls from recruiters.
And throughout your career, you made countless placement that shaped the industry. So what's one placement or project that stands out as the like most rewarding for you, where you felt your work had a real impact on the pet industry?
Yeah. So one of the searches that really stands out in my mind was I found a vice president of research and development to be in
Wow.
charge of innovation for a new startup company in the pet space,
Hmm.
building products from scratch. So just knowing the person that I identified for this company, the person I placed, just knowing they were going to make or break the company, and
Wow.
knowing how critical the position was, made it incredibly important to find the right person for the role. So during that search, I had to sort through and weed out
Hmm.
many people who were not the right fit. I had to
Hmm.
find somebody who had an entrepreneurial mindset, somebody who could think outside of the box,
Hmm.
someone that was highly innovative and motivated to create new products that were not on the market.
Hmm.
And also, the person needed to be able to thrive in a startup culture where there were no systems in place.
Hmm.
In a large company, you've got
Yeah.
systems and
Yeah.
processes, and you have a lot of people to help.
Yeah.
But in a small company, you've got to deal with ambiguity. You've got to wear many hats at the same time.
Hmm.
So once I filled that role and the client was happy and the candidate was happy, I felt really fulfilled. They were also such a fun company to work with.
Yeah.
In recruiting, sometimes, especially bigger companies, they will hire a recruiter and tell them how to do their job. But I always say, if I have an issue at my house with the pipes in my sink,
Yeah.
and I hire a plumber to
Yeah.
come out, I'm not going to tell that plumber how to do their job. I'm going to let them do whatever they do.
Yeah.
And sometimes bigger companies will tell the recruiter how to do their job. But with this company, they listened to me, they followed my advice, they didn't tell me, how to do my job or best practices. And we just had such a great time
Wow.
working together through that process. That client was just a ton of fun to work with.
Yeah, yeah. And now your client portfolio ranges from Fortune 100 companies to, innovative startups. How do your recruitment strategies shift, like when working with a startup versus a well-established organization?
So that's a great question. With startups, the priority is typically the culture alignment. So they need people that can wear multiple hats, people that can take risks, people that can thrive in ambiguity. Fortune 100 companies, on the other hand, they tend to prioritize processes, structure, and leaders who can manage complexity at scale. So my job is to listen closely, understand where they are
Mm.
in their growth, and then tailor the search process. So while the fundamentals of finding great people are the same, whether it's a startup or a large company, the execution can be different depending on the size and maturity of the organization. With startups, I often get to work with founders or people that just early joiners of the business,
Yeah.
and with large organizations, I mean, I have searches right now where I'm working directly with the CEO, but a lot of times in a bigger company,
Hmm.
you're working, with HR, for example, that are more about the processes. So it's just different working in a big company versus a small startup.
Yeah, yeah. And every week, since you're working with so many companies, you are in constant contact with industry professionals, right? So what major trends are you seeing in the animal health and veterinary industry right now that you think pet brand founders who might be listening to this podcast should pay attention to?
Mhm. Well, consolidation continues to reshape the landscape, both the animal health industry and the
Hmm.
vet profession.
Hmm.
There's more organizations coming under larger groups. And then at the same time, technology is transforming the business, such as telemedicine, AI-driven diagnostics, and new treatment innovations are creating opportunities and challenges. And then there's also a growing recognition in the veterinary space of the mental health challenges that veterinary
Hmm. Hmm.
professionals face, which is driving discussions around the workplace culture and support systems. So, employers who understand and respond to these trends are the ones who will attract and retain the best talent.
Hmm.
And then
Hmm.
we're still seeing a talent shortage, especially in the veterinary profession. There are more jobs and people available.
Wow.
And also in the vet space, vet visits are down. We've seen price increases in the
Yeah,
vet
yeah,
space, so it's
definitely. Yeah.
driven some of the consumers to find alternative resources for caring for their pets. There's been a lot
Hmm.
of conversation about that recently.
Hmm. Hmm. And one of the top concerns for companies today is finding and retaining the right talent. In your opinion, what are the biggest hiring challenges pet brand face in today's competitive market?
Uh, hiring challenges.
Yeah,
Okay. Well, the biggest hiring challenge right now is there is a talent shortage. So just finding highly skilled professionals with just more jobs than people, and then professionals have more options, so they're more
mm,
selective about where they work. So employers can't just offer a job; they have to offer a compelling package of culture, growth opportunities, and flexibility.
And since you have placed countless executives, at various levels, right? What differentiate an average leader from like truly great one in the in health and pet industry?
So, what differentiates a great leader? I would say that great leaders combine vision with empathy.
Yeah,
So they can set direction and inspire teams, but they
yeah.
also understand the unique stresses that people face working in the animal health or pet or veterinary space. So, average leaders focus on tasks, and great leaders focus on people. And in the sector like veterinary medicine, where burnout is real, that people first approach is critical.
Yeah, yeah. And like many pet brands struggle to compete with larger corporation, when attracting top talent, right? What do you think, like what practical advice would you give to a founder? Let's say they might be listening to this podcast who is struggling to attract high quality talent against the bigger competitors in the market.
So startups versus a bigger company.
Yeah.
I would say culture. Working in a startup, like I said before, you have to be able to, wear a lot of hats. Sometimes in a bigger organization, you're doing a smaller piece of, you're only having visibility or being able to see a smaller piece of the business.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think you can leverage your size and an advantage. Candidates are often drawn to startups because they can make immediate visible impact.
Hmm.
So for a startup, I would say to highlight your flexibility, your
Wow.
agility,
Hmm. Hmm.
and the chance for employers to shape the company's.
Yeah.
The chance for employees to shape the company's future. So those are some things that some of the bigger companies can't offer.
Yeah, yeah. Talking about the marketing and business growth of your own business. Uh, how did you market and position the vet recruiter in the early days when no one really knew about your specific niche?
Mhm. In the beginning, it was all about relationships and results and then referrals.
Yeah.
So I focused on one client at a time. I focused on delivering great outcomes for
Yeah.
clients and for candidates.
Mm.
And then, sometimes I'd ask for referrals, but often referrals would just come on their own.
Wow.
So reputation was all my marketing and just working in a close knit industry and profession. The
Wow.
word of mouth travels fast.
Wow. Yeah, yeah. And today with, so many channels available for marketing, which marketing channels or strategies do you find most effective in continuing to grow the vet recruiter brand? Is it the same like referral marketing or anything else?
It is still referral marketing. I
Wow.
get a lot of my business from word of mouth from
Mm-hmm.
candidates that I've placed or clients I've worked with. But our marketing has gotten more sophisticated today. So we use content marketing,
Wow.
thought leadership have been powerful.
Wow.
We publish articles. I do a lot of writing. I host a podcast as well called the
Yeah.
People of Animal Health Podcast,
Yeah.
and just sharing insights. And then that visibility builds credibility. So when someone needs a recruiter, we're already top of mind. Also, we attend conferences and trade shows,
Wow.
and we get out in the animal health and pet space and veterinary community often. So we're
Yeah.
attending 14 conferences, events, and trade shows
Wow.
this year.
Wow, crazy, crazy. And many pet brands, they attempt marketing, but they fall short, right? From your experience, what do you think, like what are the most common marketing mistakes that you see small pet businesses or upcoming pet businesses make that hold them back from sustainable growth?
I would say, one is inconsistency, such as they'll
Okay.
launch a campaign and then go silent for a few months.
Yeah.
And then another mistake is lacking a clear message. So if customers or candidates can't quickly understand who you are and why you matter, then they won't engage.
Yeah, yeah. And this specific like talking about the if a founder come to you today asking how to build a world-class organization from scratch, where would you tell them to start this process?
So building did you say a world-class organization from
Yeah,
scratch, where to
yeah,
start?
yeah,
Um,
exactly.
so So you have to start with your people because talent is the foundation of every successful company. So
Yeah,
when you hire exceptional leaders and then you align them with your mission, they will build the systems and the culture and the momentum that you need to scale. But it all starts with the people.
definitely, definitely. And also, leadership is a key in scaling a business. What's one important leadership lesson you have learned over your career that every CEO in the pet industry must know?
Culture starts at the top.
Okay.
So leaders set the tone, whether they realize it or not. Every word, every decision sends a signal. And if you want accountability, collaboration, or innovation, it has to start at the top with the CEO.
Yeah, yeah. And Ceci, if someone is listening to this podcast, they are not from the US and they want to enter in the US market for an international pet brand looking to enter in the US market, what do you think, like what advice would you give to them to navigate the complexity of, building their presence here in the US?
Oh, I love that question because I've seen companies come into the US and make mistakes, and I've seen other companies
Wow.
that have done things correctly. So,
Hmm.
really need to take the time to understand the nuances of the US market, from the regulatory frameworks to cultural expectations.
Mm-hmm.
Don't assume what worked in your home country is going to work here in the US.
Yeah,
And partnering with local experts can make the transition much smoother. And you have to have the right people. Sometimes they will bring their own people in from their home country that don't understand the way the US market works. And then as they start hiring people from the US market, the
mm-hmm.
people from their home country will try to do things the way that they did them in their home country,
Yeah, yeah.
which many times don't work in the US. So you really need to rely on experts in the US that know how to work within the US.
Yeah, yeah, and that's where the vet recruiter comes in.
Yes, because we can help companies that are from overseas wanting to do business in the US find the right people on the team that can help
Wow.
them grow the company.
Wow, wow. And since technology is rapidly, transforming industries, how do you see AI and other digital platforms shaping the recruitment in the animal health and veterinary industries in the next few years?
Sure. So how will technology shape recruitment? AI and digital platforms will make sourcing and screening faster and more efficient,
Yeah.
but relationships are going to remain central. Relationships will always, be the core of recruiting. So
Mm.
technology should support recruiters, not replace them.
Yeah.
And the human elements like trust, empathy, and listening will always be the differentiator.
Mhm. And looking ahead, like where do you see the pet industry as whole in in the next 5 to 10 years in terms of growth opportunities and major challenges?
Sure. I expect continued growth. I expect more consolidation, new
Mhm.
innovations driven by technology, and at the same time, there will still be challenges like talent shortages and rising consumer expectations will intensify. And companies that innovate in both care and talent strategies are the ones that are going to thrive.
Mhm. And since you have accomplished so much in your career, Stacey, what keeps you motivated and passionate about your work every single day?
Well, I believe that my work truly makes a difference, and I am so fortunate to work in this incredible industry with
Yeah.
incredible people. Every placement for me is not a job filled, it's a career advancement, it's a company strengthened, and then often better care for animals. And so that sense of
Mhm.
purpose, combined with the relationships that I've built, that keeps me energized.
Mhm. And the last question from my end, Stacey. Finally, for the pet brand founders tuning in today, what is the one piece of advice you would give them that goes beyond scaling their business and helps them create a lasting impact in the industry?
Well, I would say that growth is important, but impact comes from alignment. So that means aligning your mission, your culture, and your people. When those three are in sync, you don't just build a company, you're building a legacy.
Amazing, amazing. Guys, that brings us to the end of today's episode of the Pet Brand Podcast. Stacey, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show.
Well, Varda, thank you again for having me. It was a pleasure to be here.
To all our listeners, I hope you found today's conversation as inspiring and actionable as I did. So, if you're a pet brand founder, CEO, or industry professional looking to grow your business and build a world-class team, make sure to apply Stacey's insights and strategies. I will leave all the link is in the description below. You can connect with Stacey. Don't forget to subscribe to the Pet Brand Podcast for more expert interviews and growth strategies in the pet industry. Thank you for tuning in, and we will catch you in the next episode.